It's the then versus now challenge! 3!
Qualifying Race 4 is all about the 4x4s. It's a Jeep Jamboree.
That's right, Al. So let's meet today's racers. Up first, it's the only racer representing Team Then. It's the 1995 Jeep Cherokee, driven by Emil Dunn from his hometown of St. Paul, Minnesota. And let's see if he could live up to that last name and get her done for Team Then.
Then we have a big lineup for Team Now. Up first, it's the 2020 Jeep Gladiator, driven by Norman Jordan from Virginia Beach, Virginia. And with all those motorcycles in the back, it looks like he threw some junk in the trunk to keep that Jeep weighted down. We'll see how that works out for him on the track. Then we have the 2019 Jeep Renegade. It's driven by Andre Edwards from his hometown of Modesto, California. It's funny, whenever I hear the name Andre, I always think of a giant, but this Andre is actually the tiniest Jeep in the race today. And from the smallest Jeep, we move on to the biggest. It's this giant, the 2012 Jeep Wrangler Superlift. And ironically, the driver's name is Dewey Short. Maybe he's compensating for that last name, because there is nothing short about this Jeep. Anyway, Mr. Short is from Kansas City, Missouri.
Now let's get to the part we're all here for. Let's get this race started. Here we are at the Guillotine Gate for Heat 1.
In Lane 1, barely able to be seen by that giant superlift, is Emil Dunn in the 1995 Cherokee. In Lane 2, it's Andre, not the giant, in the teeny tiny 2019 Renegade.
Then, taking up almost the entire back row, it's Dewey Short in the 2012 Superlift in Lane 3. And the motorcycle-carrying 2020 Gladiator rounds us out in Lane 4.
Let's get this race started.
3, 2, 1, go!
Massive flip!
The Superlift is done!
Cherokee is out!
Gladiator pushing the Renegade!
He can't get around and the Renegade takes it on his roof! Wow! What a way to start this one! Barry, I had no idea what to expect in this heat, but someone just went back to the classics. And I'm talking about Mr. Norman Jordan. Coming down Nevada, Jordan puts a pit maneuver on the 95 Cherokee and then instantly delivers a Picasso block on that Superlift. And for new fans, that was a block so devastatingly beautifully executed that it couldn't be named anything else. This move will now and forever be called the Picasso. And to see it perform for the first time, watch the Fans vs. ACs Challenge, Race 5, after you finish this race.
And it can only be a Picasso if it immediately puts the receiver out of the race. And it does. That block is so destructive the Superlift crashes to a halt on his roof in the bottleneck.
And that Gladiator is on a mission, Barry. Because don't forget, he had already put a pit maneuver on the 95 Cherokee, and he delivers another one in Carmine Corner. And this one finished off that Cherokee for good.
And then Mr. Jordan in the Gladiator steers around and starts bumping the upside-down Renegade.
It looks like he's trying to push him out of his way, Barry.
Well, Al, coming down Clunker Canyon, it looks like those two Jeeps are locked at the bumper because the Gladiator can't break free.
And since he can't get around, it looks like Jordan had to make a choice. Slam on the brakes and get a DNF like everyone else, or keep driving and try to at least get 3 points for second place.
Well, coming down the boulevard, it looks like he has to choose to go for the points. And you can see he wasn't happy about it. He accelerates and rams that upside-down Renegade and himself into the safety wall after the finish line.
Yeah, I guess since Jordan knew he was giving up the 5 points to the tiny Renegade, he was going to try to at least inflict maximum damage in return. He may have only come in second place, but Norman Jordan in the Gladiator just completely dominated that heat. Plus, he delivered the Picasso block, not seen here in the Scrapyard in a long time. I wish I could give him points for that, but unfortunately he'll have to settle for 3, while upside down Andre gets 5.
Heat 2. In the pole position, hopefully recovered from the Picasso, is the gargantuan 2012 Superlift. Over to his right, in lane 2, it's twice pit-maneuvered Emil Dunn in the 95 Cherokee.
In the back, it's the smallest Jeep with the biggest points, Andre in the 2019 Renegade. Then finally, in lane 4, it's Mr. Jordan, who should consider renaming his truck from Gladiator to Dominator.
Officials have reset the clunkers. We are ready to roll.
3, 2, 1, go!
Gladiator pushing again!
Oh, everyone on their backs!
But Emil Dunn gets it done! Wow, let's get to that replay! Barry, I gotta say, I know here at the Scrapyard we usually race cars, but these Jeeps have been doing their job at putting on quite the show.
That's right, Al. These Jeeps have been very exciting, and we're still just in Heat 2.
Just look at this. The Superlift, while in the lead, takes out 3 safety vehicles coming into Carmine Corner.
And that slows them down just enough, giving the Cherokee the opportunity to pass.
And at the back of the pack, the Gladiator finds himself again pushing an upside-down Renegade. He must be furious behind that wheel. I'm surprised he didn't just get out of the truck and hop on one of those motorcycles he's hauling.
Meanwhile, in Clunker Canyon, you could see Jordan in the Superlift trying to push Emil Dunn in the Cherokee off the side of the canyon.
Right, but it completely backfires, and he's the one that ends up flipping that top-heavy beast.
But that's nothing compared to Mr. Jordan, who, livid with the fact he's pushing the Renegade yet again, finds an opening to get around.
And Jordan launches that truck through the air. He's a regular air jump.
Al, the copyright lawyers just screamed in my ear not to allow you to finish that sentence. Let's just say Mr. Jordan got some big air. I think that's clear to say. Then coming down the boulevard, we see Emil Dunn trying hard to get that Cherokee back around, but he actually ends up going into the wall and loses it. And the Superlift, still struggling, tries one final attempt to take out Dunn.
But that might have actually helped push him across the line.
And let's not forget Jordan, who worked so hard to get around that Renegade. He even managed to roof slide his way around the Superlift, but just ran out of steam inches before the line.
Maybe if he wasn't towing those motorcycles, he would have been light enough to get across.
Who knows, Al? But one thing we do know for sure is Emil Dunn was the only one to make it across and get 5 big points, tying him for first place and pushing the Gladiator into second.
Wow, Jordan must be really furious now. His face is probably as red as that truck. Heat 3, we have the Boiling in Rage Gladiator in lane 1, followed by Mr. Likes to Play Dirty Superlift in lane 2.
In the back, it's the points leaders, with the 95 Cherokee in lane 3 and the diminutive Renegade in lane 4.
3, 2, 1, go!
Superlift with a super lead!
Cherokee is out! Renegade is nowhere!
Superlift flies through the canyon!
Gladiator tries hard to cover ground. Superlift loses it!
And into the wall!
And the Gladiator barrels into it as well! Barry, again, these guys do not fail to massively entertain. In Heat 1, Jordan had pit-maneuvered Emil Dunn's Cherokee twice in the same heat.
Now coming down Nevada, it's the Cherokee's chance for revenge.
And he blocks him so hard he sends that Gladiator barreling through the air. Jordan didn't even know what hit him. Oh, to be clear to the copyright lawyers, I said barrel rolling through the air, exclamation point, new sentence, Jordan didn't even know. There was a space there.
I think you're fine, Al. But who was not fine was Andre in the Renegade, because he goes off track coming out of the bottleneck.
And Emil Dunn wasn't too far behind because he comes into Carmine Corner perpendicular. He's trying to straighten out, but just rail grinds to a standstill. Then the Superlift rockets through the canyon, sending a few clunkers off the side in his wake. But all that speed is more than that lifted truck can handle, and he eats it halfway down the boulevard and goes belly up.
Fortunately for him, he generates generated enough speed to keep his lead and get him across the line.
And the Gladiator, still frustrated by all the obstacles in his way, smashes into the wall again to blow off some steam and cool down.
What's not cooling down is our scorecard. The Gladiator gets 5 points for the win, tying himself with the Cherokee and the Renegade. But even though he came in second, his consistent performance has placed the Gladiator in the lead with 6 points.
Wow, Barry, this is the closest race we've had in a long time. Heat 4. Former first place holders are up front. Superlift Heat 3 winner is in lane 3, and current first place holder is in lane 4.
Let's get this race started.
3, 2, 1, go!
They're holding tight!
So many backflips!
Cherokee is out!
Renegade huge lead! Renegade loses it!
Gladiator and the Superlift also lose it. No one makes it across. Wow! Like usual, they get a nice, strong start coming out of the guillotine gate.
They get a little loose coming down Nevada, but nothing too outrageous.
And all those 4x4 suspensions were working overtime in the bottleneck as they bounced their way through.
And then Carmine Corner happens. They are all upside down coming into the corner, and only Andre in the 2019 Renegade manages to get his wheels back on the track.
The Cherokee screeches to a halt, and it looked like the Superlift was about to do the same, but he had just enough to send him over the crest of the hill.
And as the Renegade speeds through and the Gladiator scrapes through, the Superlift trails behind and sends a clunker over the edge to keep things interesting.
And Andre, being the only one on his wheels, just needed to coast over the line for an easy win. But instead, he collides into the wall, sending that pocket truck flipping to the other side of the track.
And yet somehow it landed on his wheels, and when he finally does try to coast over the line, he conks out inches from the finish. And with the Gladiator, they all end up like the Superlift driver's last name. Short. They all came up short.
So it's zeros all around in this heat. That means there's only 1 point separating first place and the 3 drivers tied for second.
Wow, Barry, if only the top 2 point scorers advance, will all 4 move on if there's another 4-way DNF?
Al, this is the Scrapyard. You know we'd never make it that simple. Here we are at the guillotine gate for the final heat.
Wow, Barry, I'm so excited. Let's just get to the countdown.
3, 2, 1, go!
Oh my gosh! Superlift and the Gladiator are out!
No, wait! He's going to push him over! I don't believe it!
Cherokee and Renegade spin!
And I don't believe it! Here they come!
They crash!
The Cherokee is back on his wheels, and he makes it across!
Renegade roadblocks everyone else! This one is all over!
Well, Al, you could keep your Lamborghinis, because it was the Jeeps that brought the excitement to the Scrapyard tonight.
Just look at this coming down Nevada. Norman Jordan in the 2020 Gladiator just taps Dewey Short's Superlift, and that sends him and those oversized tires into the wall. And boing, he gets launched up and over Emil Dunn's 95 Cherokee.
But not only is Emil able to avoid it, he also steers around that tumbling Andre Edwards in that little Renegade.
And that causes Emil to come into the corner blind, and he just clips one of those safety vehicles, and that sends him on his roof. But the best part is you could see the Superlift just basically jackknifes in the middle of the track, and Jordan will not be stopped. This whole race he's had to push people out of his way or down the track, and this heat was not going to be any different. He shifts into 2L and pushes that giant truck into Clunker Canyon.
And after the Cherokee and the Renegade go through the canyon inverted, you can see how much Jordan struggled to move that big-wheeled behemoth. And he tries to send Dewey Short over and steer around, yet somehow those giant tires act like life preservers and keep that giant truck on the track.
And then showing off massive driving skills, Emil Dunn is able to use the walls to get his truck back on its wheels and across the line. That was a very impressive display of four-wheeling. Plus, you could see how Norman Jordan was finally able to get around that superlift. But what he didn't see was an upside-down Renegade in his way and goes right into Andre Edwards' out-of-commission Jeep Renegade. But he still manages to shift in reverse fast enough to keep the superlift in check. He must have thought, if I'm not crossing the line, no one is crossing the line.
Well, who did cross the line and win was Mr. Emil Dunn, scoring a much-needed 5 points, putting him in first place and winning tonight's race.
And while he had nothing but obstacles in his way, Norman Jordan managed to get second place and will advance as well.
Congratulations to Emil, who managed to live up to his last name and get it done. We'll be seeing him in the tournament.
And joining him will be Norman Jordan. Funny, he showed up hauling 2 motorcycles, but actually ended up towing everyone else down the track. Also, I want to personally thank him for pulling off that beautiful Picasso block. That was definitely the move of the night.
Moreover, this is where we say goodbye to Andre Edwards and his 2019 Renegade. That little green Jeep proved you could be small and still provide some big entertainment.
And speaking of big, we also have to say goodbye to Dewey Short and his superlift. And that truck lived up to its name because it was super lifted into space by some of those devastating blocks he received.
We hope you'll join us for Race 5 when it's all about Chevrolet's iconic pony car, the Camaro. Until then, this is your host, Barnabas Tone, saying thanks for watching and good night.
And if you've watched this far, a super special thank you. Please give us a like, share this video with your friends, and best of all, subscribe to the Scrapyard so you never miss a race.
It's a day versus now showing.